I'm just very, very pleased with him at the moment. Just saying, he sort of looks leaner and hungrier and angrier and just more competitive than I've seen him for a very, very long time.
Did he sort of just go off the boil towards the end of last season?
It did. Well, as you know, things didn't go according to plan, and it sort of, when plans get thrown out, so does the whole thing. And I think it all got. He didn't do an awful lot wrong. He was disappointing at Aintree, I admit, but I don't think that was the extra half a mile. Whether he just needed it because he'd missed Cheltenham. That's what AP thought. He thought he was just stuffy, but he was a great big bull of a horse all last year. He just looks completely different this year.
Any idea where you'll start him off?
Well, I think it's going to have to be the Fighting Fifth again. I'd be ready earlier than that. The last 2 years he's running the Fighting Fifth and needed it both times. At the moment he's looking as if, if it was in 3 weeks' time he'd be ready. Oscar Whisky. There's a nice race. I mean, definitely decided to stay hurdling and not go chasing for another year. He will have one run over 2 miles, but that'll be in the Welsh champion hurdle at Ffoslas for obvious reasons. But I'd like to, 2.5 is probably where we want to begin. It's probably where we might finish. But there's the Coral Ascot hurdle, the same day as the Betfair. And actually that's why Long Run and Oscar Whisky have been doing nearly all their work together, because they're both due to start on the same day.
Oscar Whisky by about 3 or 4 lengths now to Tarkari. Over the last, he flicks over it. Tarkari blunders and Oscar Whisky is clear. On the run for home, Oscar Whisky is well clear. He'll win the William Hill Welsh Champion Hurdle in the colours of Di Walters. For Nicky Henderson and Barry Geraghty, he looks a top-class performer. Oscar Whisky from Blackjack Blues.
And longer term, would you think of stepping him up to 3 miles take on?
That's the sort of idea behind it all. Now, obviously, that leads you straight into big bucks. Well, somebody's got to take him on, and this is a good horse, and he proved that at Aintree, and he was third in the champion hurdle when, 2 miles is not his trip. But hopefully it'll get him through the Welsh champion hurdle, and then we'll up him to 3 miles and take on Master Bucks on the way and see if we can, have a crack at him.
And one of your exciting novices from last season, Spirit Sun, is that going to stay hurdling?
Spirit Sun stays hurdling. That's why I think we'd rather sort of, with Oscar Whisky and Spirit Sun, definitely stay hurdling, yes. At the same time, Bobsworth's going to go. Bobsworth and Sprinter Sacra, who came out of the same races as Spirit Sun and Bobsworth, they're the ones that are going to go chasing. Bobsworth and Sprinter Sacra of the sort of last year's Cheltenham novices anyway. He's in good form. He was out there. He would possibly run in the elite hurdle at Wincanton and then the 4-year-old hurdle on Betfair Day at Haydock. Is the plan. We had ideas about going to France, but then rather sort of scuppered it. He's a speed horse, and 2.5 miles Rundo Toy in soft ground. I think that might be the end of his season before it started, so we've rather scuppered that one.
So it's going to be quite a job keeping him apart from Spirit Sun, is it?
Well, they all are, but I mean, you usually manage to do it. I mean, it's a pity when you do have, if you've got 2 good horses, that you have to clash before. I mean, like Grand Duet's race at Haydock that day is a 4-year-olds only. Spirit Sun, well, he'd probably, well, obviously he can't run in that because he's not a 4-year-old, so that keeps them apart for the time being. I should think it'll be around about Christmas time, and if they've got to be, Binoculars going to be hanging around all the same races as well. Yeah, I've always thought she was a good filly. She has got to learn to settle, though. She gets quite angry in her races and pulls too flipping hard. If she settles, she's good, and when she was relaxed last year, she was very good, but she can fight like hell.
And she wore a hood today. Would she wear that on the racecourse as well?
Well, it's a hood. It's a sort of, it's got special ear things on it. It's actually another form of earplugs. I was just practicing, to be honest with you. She might wear that on Saturday, or just you leave the earplugs in.